Ryan Roth, Wind 1345, assignment 7, pitch systems. After looking over the material provided in the textbooks and some of the material that was provided as with the course material, I've really just come up with the assumption that hydraulic versus electric is purely up to the manufacturer. They both have pros and cons. Some of the pros outweigh the cons. Some of the cons outweigh the pros, depending on the hydraulic versus electric. I've come up with a few things that I believe are essential to it. Let me start off with a couple of them. The hydraulic, start off with, because that's what I'm familiar with. I've worked with cars, for instance, power steering pump. To me, that's how I relate to hydraulics. I work with tractors, constantly using a bucket or something like that. I'm using hydraulics. So therefore, my personal choice is hydraulics because that's what I'm familiar with. As I stated, let me start off with a couple things. The hydraulic consists of hydraulic power powering a ram that will turn the turbine blade, or call it a piston, or whatever you'd like to call it. But some of the pros to me on the hydraulic aspect of it is it takes a very little hydraulic pump to make an immense amount of hydraulic pressure. So to me, you're kind of getting a 2-for-1 kind of deal. You know, you can say use that pump for other things. Another part of it would be like spotting a hydraulic leak. It's easy to do. I mean, you look for the wet spot. You know, usually if you got a hydraulic leak somewhere, it's easy to track, and you go in, you replace the hose or splice or do whatever's needed to be done. But it's an easy way to track down a leak versus, say, with electric, you may have to trace a bunch of wires. You have to forgive me a second. I got to look down here at my chart. The initial cost of hydraulics is immensely lower than the electrical motors. The motors can range thousands of dollars versus a simple hydraulic pump. Seals on the hydraulic pump are, you know, when it comes to maintenance, I mean, that's mainly the main thing right there, is keeping your fluid clean, filters clean, and your seals sealed. You know, like I said, once again, to me, I'm more about the hydraulic aspect of it because it's what I know. It's simplistic to me. It's reliable. Some of the negatives that I see are, as I stated, it being a positive, but it's also negative at the same time, is the amount of pressure. I've seen hydraulic hoses break and the hydraulic fluid be hot and burn somebody. I mean, really burn them bad. And whenever they break, they come, you know, they can whip around and just whip you and hurt you real bad. Usually those lines are a steel braided line, so when they start to fray and bust apart, they usually hurt somebody real bad. Let's see. There is a lot of maintenance to it, like I stated before. You know, keeping your oil clean, your hydraulic fluid, your filters, checking seals can be a mess to clean up. Can be a real big mess to clean up. As for electric, the electric consists of an electric motor, low energy consumption, quiet to operate, versus a hydraulic pump is rather noisy, can be. to me, this is why I sheer away from the electrical part of it, is the amount that can go wrong with an electrical motor. There is so many different numerous pieces inside of this electrical motor that can go wrong, from the sensors to the windings in the motor to the electrical lines that have to be traced down. The cost is higher to get, your initial cost is higher to get it started. Another big positive to the electrical part is maintenance. I mean, there's virtually no maintenance other than, your preventive maintenance and just inspecting. You don't have no filters to change, no fluid to keep clean, so forth like that. Let's see. Once again, the electrical is environmentally friendly. You wouldn't have to worry about an oil spill with an electrical motor. So once again, I mean, I just believe that it all comes down to personal preference. What, say, the builder wants to use in the operations. I don't believe that one is particularly better than the other. Once again, I just believe it comes down to personal choice. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
In a while now I will feel better. I'll face the weather before me.